Other top stories we're watching for you at 1:30. The Senate Judiciary Committee meets today to review Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court nomination hearing, with a vote now scheduled for next week. If confirmed, she would be the first female black judge to serve on the high court.
The toxicology report finds 10 different substances were in the body of Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins. The 50-year-old was found dead in a Columbia hotel room on Friday, just hours before his band had a show.
And more than 2,000 unvaccinated United Airlines employees who sought medical or religious exemptions returned to work today, according to an internal memo. The company says a decline in coronavirus cases, hospitalizations, and deaths nationwide, including its ability to keep employees safe, as reasons for the change. John?
Thank you, Sandra. President Biden's weekend gaffe about regime change in Russia is sparking widespread confusion about what the U.S. position actually is. It also comes as Ukrainian President Zelenskyy says the West is not doing enough to stand up to Russia. Let's bring in Ukrainian parliamentary member Ivana Klimpush-Tsintsadze. She is here in Washington to meet with members of Congress this afternoon. You're here with an entire delegation, Ivana,
yes,
from Ukraine, and it's good to see you in the studio because we have all marveled at the bravery of the Ukrainian people and their ability to keep the Russian military at bay. But let me ask you, first of all, you're going to start meeting with members of Congress, people from the State Department this afternoon. What are you looking for?
Well, thank you for having me, and it's very important that you are helping us to get across to American people. I appreciate that. Yes, we have 5 parliamentarians, female parliamentarians, that came here, a cross-party group, and I think that that's another message that shows that I think also will be taken well on the Hill and elsewhere where we will have the meetings, that we are all united in order to defend the country and in order to ensure that we are not only surviving, but we have a future.
But again, I mean, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag here. What are you looking for?
We are looking for, first, we are grateful to whatever has been done already by the U.S., but we are looking for more weapons. We are looking for specifically planes for air defense, for artillery systems,
so
for tanks.
You want the MiGs?
We want the mix, and not only. We believe that this is much more, if the war is, Russians do not care. They have a lot of resources, they have a lot of manpower, and they don't care about the life of every single person.
So let me ask you this question. So the Pentagon, which is just across the Potomac River, said, oh, Ukraine doesn't need the MiGs. Your response?
We do need them. We do need them to provide ability for us to close our skies on our own. If it's not a no-go for no-fly zone, we need to ensure that Ukrainian aviation has an upper hand in the skies, that we can protect the humanitarian corridors, we can protect our civilians, we can protect our cultural sites, our cities, our homes.
So this brings me to a question. Who knows better what Ukraine needs? Ukrainians or the Pentagon?
I'm sure that Ukrainians know better what do we need, and I hope that we will, with all the conversations we have, and also with the help of, again, cross-party, bipartisan support from the Hill, that we will be able to persuade all those who are still skeptical with regard to particular things that we need to help us. But again, we are receiving a lot already from the U.S., and that's incredibly important. And U.S. has been leading this attempt of the free world, but unfortunately I think nobody is really well estimating what Putin is capable of, and that's why we need much more, and the urgency of those deliveries, the urgency of those decisions to be taken, and the bureaucracy hurdles have to be overcome.
Right. So President Biden had a very tough speech in Warsaw over the weekend, in which he added at the end this. Listen here.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
So it sounded when he said that like the United States had suddenly adopted a policy of regime change, but the White House quickly walked it back. The Secretary of State said, oh, no, we didn't mean that. What do you think of this whole controversy?
You know, really think what we see from Ukraine. We see from Ukraine that a person, absolutely mad person, a madman with terrorist army is attacking our land and is killing civilians, is ruining our homes, is shelling and bombing, and is using the prohibited weapons, and is not agreeing with the fact that we exist as a nation, as a nation state.
So does Putin need to go?
From my perspective, it does, but that is me, Ukrainian politician, speaking, and I also think that a lot in the Russian elite have to go.
Right. Ivana Klimpush-Sensate, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in, and we'll get some of your colleagues on as the week progresses.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Sandra?
All right, thank you, John. The House Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot wants to talk to Ginny Thomas about her messages to former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. The committee is set to discuss the matter tonight. Thomas, of course, is the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Congressional correspondent Chad Pergram is reporting on this for us live on the Hill. Hi, Chad.
Good afternoon, Sandra. Well, Ginny Thomas is now on the agenda. The committee had been scheduled to prep contempt of Congress resolutions for former Trump aides Peter Navarro and Dan Scavino, but Fox has told the panel could request that Thomas testify voluntarily before the committee. The committee is not ready to issue a subpoena.
We want to make sure that this isn't driven, even though it's in the political realm, it's not driven by a political motivation, it's driven by facts. So when it comes to any potential future calling in of Ms. Thomas, we'll take a look at what the evidence is.
In December, the House voted to hold former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows in contempt of Congress. However, the DOJ has not prosecuted Meadows. The committee doubts it has all of the messages sent by Meadows. Members hope that word about Ginny Thomas sending text to Meadows could prompt the Justice Department to prosecute Meadows. So far, the GOP is standing by Justice Clarence Thomas, and if he should hear cases tied to the riot or the election.
Well, first off, I admire and respect Clarence Thomas. I think he's been a great Supreme Court justice, and Clarence Thomas, in my opinion, will always do the right thing.
Thomas had been hospitalized for about a week, but Thomas heard oral arguments today by phone. This comes as a federal judge has ordered more than 100 emails be turned over to the committee from former Trump advisor John Eastman. Eastman suggested that former Vice President Pence could overturn the Electoral College. The judge says that former President Trump and Eastman likely committed crimes in their effort to circumvent the counting of the electoral vote. Sandra?
Okay, Chad Pergram reporting on Capitol Hill for us. Thank you very much, Chad. John.
Sandra, the refugee crisis in Ukraine leading to an outpouring of support from around the world, but now there are new concerns that some of that aid may be starting to dry up.
And President Biden set to announce his new budget. It is happening next hour. We should be hearing from the president, but is going after the billionaires in this country the way to fix the economy? Steve Moore and Robert Wolf are here to weigh in.
I expect the budget that we're going to see is going to be more debt on arrival, and it is going to be dead on arrival.